What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. I want to discuss some statements that Rob Parker made about Bronny James and how he feels about Bronny James being drafted into the NBA. And basically, what Rob Parker said that he thinks that this was the worst decision that the NBA has made, right? And for to bring draft Bronny when Bronny is not qualified for the job. And so he made some statements, some strong statements, which I want to do. I want to react to them, right? And give my input. But before I do that, I also want to talk about my new trivia show that I'm doing, right? And so you see this tic-tac-toe board behind me. It's a sports trivia show. You call in. If you can beat me at tic-tac-toe, you know how tic-tac-toe go. You get three in a row, either X's or O's, whichever one, don't matter. Then you'll win cash or prizes. I had some merch, like some t-shirts and some book bags and stuff like that, or backpacks that I'm giving out, right? And so, like I said, if you can beat me, it's cash prize of $50. Now, here's the thing. Even to be a contestant, once if you're selected to be a contestant on the show, you get $50, right? So no way you can lose. You get $50 just for showing up, just for being a contestant. Then you'll get another $50 if you can answer the trivia questions correctly, get your three in a row, and beat me. So that's a possible $100 plus some merchandise, some urban platform fashion merchandise. So here you see on the screen, you see the you see the email address, urban platform fashion at gmail.com. Just email me at this address, make the title, trivia game show contestant, and I'll reach out to you and we'll set up a time where you could, you can come on the show and show me what you know about sports. Like, if you're a sports guru, then you can win some money and display your knowledge of sports. So don't forget, urban platform fashion at gmail.com. All right, so now here we go, right? Back to the topic at hand. Let's listen to what Rob Parker had to say about LeBron James and Bronny James and bring him into the league and how he think this really was a bad look for the league.
I think this is the worst decision that's ever happened in professional sports. And I'm dead serious when I say that. It changes what the essence of the game has always been, which is about competition. This is what we've always talked about. And the reason why you have an NFL where you have essentially 99% of the owners are white, and yet the league is 70% black. Meritocracy is what allowed this to be the case. They didn't go out and just fill their teams with people who look like them because they own the team and said, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do, and no one can tell me because I own the team. It was about the best people went out there, played the game, and the people who deserve to get jobs got jobs. I heard a lot of people throw around nepotism. And there's plenty of nepotism, and I've been critical of.
I was one that threw it around.
Yeah, plenty. And I've thrown out nepotism. Chris, it's wrong. We've seen it, especially in the front office.
Oh,
it ain't
staff, front office,
right.
All that.
But it ain't the same as what we've seen here as far as on the field. Someone would have to show me on the field where some guy got his son a spot on a team or some owner put his nephew on. I'll just take the last spot on the roster. It doesn't matter. I want you to be on the team because I own the team. And that's the part I think when LeBron looks at his legacy, that he'll be leaving the sport in a worse place than when he got here. And what I mean is he's opened up a Pandora's box now to where I don't know how you tell people not to do what he just did, right? His kid, by all of the scouts, not Rob Parker as a scout, all the scouts, smaller guard Chris, he didn't have a great year in college, all this thing. He might have made it. He might have been able to be on a team as a non-drafted player and worked his way through and all that, right? Could have. But this was like, no, he's coming to the Lakers. Get out of the way. Don't draft him. This is all about LeBron making this happen. The whole process feels bad, doesn't feel good. I feel bad for Bronny from the standpoint of where people will look at him, where if this was on his own merit, Chris, and I'm saying on his own merit, and anybody drafted him and he worked his way through or whatever, worked through it was, I think he would have had a better situation or a better chance without having people wear this on him, that the only reason he's there is his dad. And people aren't going to say it. A lot of people aren't going to say it publicly because LeBron still has power and has a big name and a lot of guys. But I talked to a lot of former players who just to me said that this doesn't feel right on the way that this was handled, all the conversation about it. Everybody knew. I told you this months ago that he was going to the Lakers. There was no doubt in my mind at all.
We both said,
how this was going to play out. I think this is the worst.
All right, so let me say this, right? And I think a lot of people, some people say, well, are you criticizing, Bronny James? You don't like LeBron, you criticizing Bronny, right? And I don't think it's about criticizing Bronny James, and it's not about, in my opinion, liking LeBron James. It's about like people who really care for the sport don't want to see the sport. They want to see the best players out there, and for so many reasons, that's the best way to go about it. You have people, like I said, people want to see the best players out there. Then you have gambling, to take into account. So if they will go this far as to put somebody out there that's not qualified, then expect you to, to gamble on these games or and wager, you think this team's going to win or that team's going to win. How can you do that? And knowing that the games might not be on the up and up because they putting people out there based on their relationship to other players and whether they're qualified or not. And so I'm glad, he brought up, I think a lot of times the situation with like Ken Griffey Jr. and his father came up, right? But if Ken Griffey Jr. was not good enough to play in the league, they just wouldn't, he got a shot. He would have gotten a shot. I think just based on who his father was, I think he would have gotten a shot. But he turned out to be better than his father, right? And even here in Baltimore, we had Cal Ripken Sr. Now, I don't remember because I was young. I don't remember Cal Ripken Sr. his playing days, but I do remember him as a third base coach for the Baltimore Orioles. And he brought his son up, Cal Ripken Jr., right? And it was a lot of buzz about that, especially, here in Baltimore, Cal Ripken Jr., because Cal Ripken Sr. was very well respected in Baltimore. He was, Baltimore loved Cal Ripken Sr. So, but when Cal Ripken Jr. get here, he can play. He can legit play, right? If you know the history of the Orioles, how he wound up winning a World Series, with the Orioles, and then going on to be like the Iron Man of baseball and stuff like that. So that worked out. Then when you think about even his brother, you had Billy Ripken. Now Billy wasn't as good as Cal, right? And so Billy did he had the opportunity he played for a few years with the Orioles, but they didn't have any problem with not holding on to Billy Ripken because the Orioles may have felt like he didn't, he no longer fit, or he wasn't good enough to be an Oriole, but he had some years here too. So fans don't mind if you bring in family members or stuff like that, but they got to be qualified, and the fans got to know that you're going to do what's best for the team. So when the Orioles parted ways with Billy Ripken, he even played a few years with Cal Ripken, and it wasn't no big deal made about the situation. So it was, But this right here, man, when you bring somebody on who everybody know, when you average 4 points in college, you don't even start in college and you average 4 points, everybody know that you're not qualified. Then to get out there and watch him on the court, it's even more obvious that he's not qualified. And so it's not about how you personally feel about LeBron, how you personally feel about Bronny James. It's about people who really love the sport of basketball and they want to see the best product out there. And when you start doing stuff like this, man, it just, for one player, it just don't look good. It don't look good, So that's my take on it. I thought Rob Parker, man, just made, he broke it down and made a really good point about it. And so that's all I had to say. So now don't forget, I'm doing this sports trivia show, right? Leave an email if you want to be a contestant on a sports trivia show. Like I said, email urbanplatformfashion@gmail.com. You get $50 just for being a contestant. Then you'll get another $50. Like I said, if you can answer the trivia questions, get 3 in a row, either X's or O. Beat me at a game of tic-tac-toe, and you'll get an extra $50. So that's $100. Plus, I'll throw in some urban platform fashion gear, some merch. So, I mean, it's a win-win situation. You can't lose. At the very least, you're going to get $50 and some merch. So, come on, man. Show me what y'all know about sports. I get a lot of people in these comments, agreeing or disagreeing with some of my sports take. A lot of intelligent people, a lot of, good comments, man. And people are knowledgeable about the sport. So if you're any sport, if you're knowledgeable about sports in general, man, just, come on, be a contestant and get rewarded for your sports knowledge. And so with that being said, man, y'all make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment, and I'm going to check you all out in the next video.